Alright, so what's up guys? This is probably going to be the first video I actually take seriously. Alright, so I was going to talk about the correlation between which, certain MBTI types and certain Enneagram types. Because I see a lot of dispute over this, but I've gone through it and I believe, like for instance, ones, they are very SJ-like. Also, in between the two schools of thought, where, like, the between it being like, anybody can be anybody's type, or any Enneagram type, and like certain MBTI types only being able to be certain Enneagram types. I think there definitely are patterns that are more likely, but like, I guess I'll just go through them. So ones, every one I've met so far has been an STJ of some kind. An ISTJ and an ESTJ are alright, and I don't really, my relationship with them is kind of weird. It's like both of us are, I'm a 5, both of us are like competence types, and both of us are like really good at what we do, but like there's no crossover for conversation really. It's like whatever the other one talks about like bores the shit out of the other one. There's like no one really cares like about what the other one's saying. So yeah, kind of a weird relationship with them. Actually, they're usually, what usually ends up happening is we usually like end up being assholes to each other. So anyway, so twos, they can be very helpful, being, helpers, but again, it's hard to find a common ground to talk with them. They usually don't share many of the same interests really, unless it comes down to like health stuff, like, and I'm not really that interested in that. But if you bring the conversation to things about like, bodily things, then that's about, or past family experiences, I guess, is about the only route in, like, for conversation. So yeah, and they're usually SFs of some kind, I find. They're at least a feeler. I haven't met any NFs in real life that are 2s, I don't think, but all the ones I've met have been SFs. That being an ISFJ, and my mom's actually a 6, but she has a 2 for her feelings triad. So she's actually a 2-wing 1 for her feelings triad. So yeah, that was a fun upbringing. Anyway, so then threes are cool. I can usually, I get along pretty well with threes. Also, every 3 I've met so far has been a thinker of some kind. I have a friend who's an ESTP 3-wing 2, a friend that's an INTJ 3-wing 4, and a strange friendship that's an ENTP 3-wing 4. And yeah. So then type 4 I find is usually at least an NF, usually an INF. And I would say usually 4-wing 3s are usually either INFPs or ISFPs. Usually, not saying that's always the case. There can be some 4-wing 5 like INFPs. I haven't seen an ISFP 4-wing 5 yet. But I'd say INFJs are more likely to be the 4-wing 5 because I've met um, 2 INFJs that definitely have 4-wing 5 in their type somewhere. So, okay. So, and then 5s. I don't really get to hang out with a lot of 5s. I think I've only met maybe 1 or 2 in my whole life, maybe 3. And I mean, I'm the only one I know, so that I mean, really. So I guess use me as your, I'm an INTP, and I would say probably 5 is a very, like every type I've seen that's a 5 has been, as far as the letters go, an I and a T. Like I've seen like an INTP, INTJ, and I've heard of ISTP 5s, so I would imagine the ISTP 5s would be more likely to be 5-wing 6, and probably the INTJs too, but the INTPs are probably more likely to be 5-wing 4s, from my own experience, because I am one. Of course I'm going to say that. So 6s, it seems there's a big variety with those. I would say it's usually a type that has introverted intuition in some part of them. That's a 6. But I've met an ESFJ 6 too, so, and I do not get along with him. Hell no. And he's a counterphobic 6-wing 7 ESFJ. No. If you're that type, get the fuck away from me. Or at least if you're like him. So, but my mom's an ESFP, she's a 6. INTJs, I think, usually have counterphobic 6 for their thinking, at least. I bet INFJ that's a counterphobic 6-wing 7. I have an ENTJ friend that's a 6-wing 5. So, yeah, usually introverted intuitives, or at least someone that has introverted intuition is usually a 6. From my experience. So, 7s seem to usually be people that have extroverted intuition first. I could see like people with extroverted sensing being a 7 first too. Haven't met any. That ESTP friend that's a 3-wing 2 is a 7-wing 8 for his thinking, so I could definitely see that being possible. Plus, there are a lot of ESTP 8-wing 7s, and I find if there's a type that is close like that, like if there's an 8-wing 7, they're also likely to be like 7-wing 8s of the same type. So I could see that, but I haven't met any. 8s seem to be, again, as far as the letters are going, not going by the function, but the letters of the MBTI type, there's usually someone with E and T, or at least thinking. Most of the time I would say thinking is definitely usually there, and probably most likely it's usually STs. Even though, like, ENTJs are often 8s also, but they're probably more often going to be 8-wing 9s, where the STs are probably going to be 8-wing 7s, except for ESTJs. They could probably go either way. Basically, the 8-wing 7s are the ones that are going to be breaking a lot of shit, and the 8-wing 9s are going to be the ones that are trying to keep them from breaking a lot of shit. So, at least that's what I see happening a lot. 9s usually seem to be someone that has I and F. Like an ISFJ. I've met 2 ISFJs that are 9s. One's a 9-wing 1, one's a 9-wing 8. INTPs can be 9s. I imagine they'd usually be, well, I guess it could go either way. Again, Um, the more conventional understanding of INTPs, I think, would be more 9-wing 1-ish. I don't know, it could go either way, I guess. I'm a 9-wing 8 for my actions, so yeah. Let's see, there's some ISTP 9s that are in like MMA and stuff like that, but also there's ISTP 8s that are in MMA because, you know, 8s are probably, you know, and SPSXs are the most often going to be like fighters. So, and if there's an INTP 7-wing 8, like say like Joe Rogan, they're usually interested in fighting a lot more than a 5-wing 4 is. I don't really know. My situation with fights is just weird. It's not like, it's just like when a situation comes up for there to be a fight, um, it just stops, either on my side or theirs. It just, it never becomes an actual fight. And that may be because of the 9-wing 8 thing. Maybe I can just, with the 9, calm it down before it, you know, goes anywhere. But, yeah. Let's see if there's anything else. Also, I think, I'll probably make another video about this, but I think there's, like, the instinctual variants kind of go along with what Enneagram type you are, too. Like, I think if you're like a 1, for instance, you're probably going to be a social type, just because, like, they're the perfectionists, they don't want to be corrupt, and how you get your idea of whether you're corrupt or not is from other people, so, you know. They're usually going to use the rules that most other people go by to decide if that's the perfect way to do it or not, instead of coming up with their own way. Which, yeah. And like I said, like 8s are probably more often going to be SPs of some kind, either, you know, SPSOs or SPSXs. But anyway, that's what I see in correlations between the MBTI types and the Enneagram types. And I guess I'll see you guys later. If I can stop the video.